Welcome, everyone, to Breaking Big Blue. I'm your host, Jordan Raanan, ESPN, ESPN.com, Giants reporter, Breaking Big Blue times Giants Nation show collaboration, your Monday night. Thanks again to everyone that came out last week. That was a pretty cool event. We Shannon Rose and Clifton. That worked out great. Was good crowd. I was pretty happy with it. I know Bobby was as well. Like to do some more of those events moving forward. We'll have better lighting and probably audio as well. I know at times it could be a little shoddy when we're out in the wild. Also, bring a ring light next time. You know, that would probably be good that you can actually see us a little bit better, and maybe like a pillow or like a step stool. So when I sit next to Bobby, I don't look like a little person. I think we might need some kind of situation like that, which is the problem when you sit next to somebody. Bobby, whatever.
All right, we're here live with New York Giants inside linebacker Tay Davis.
This is Tay Davis straight from the car. What are you, like 6'5", Bobby?
I'm 6'6" 3/4. I refuse to say my actual height with the new trend.
So he's basically 6'7". There we go. 6'7". See, I got you, Bobby. I got you. New trend, by the way. Yeah. I mean, things still played out. But, yeah, I mean, I'm 5'11". So standing next to someone who's 6'7" makes you look pretty small. I think that was the case there. And of course, you know, not that it changes on Sunday and we go out there and you're watching the Giants. It's painful again. They lose. It's almost jarring to even see it right now. That Giants fall to 2-13 is on the screen in front of me. Like 2-13. Like, do you know how bad you have to be 2-13? Do you know how many things have to go wrong for you to be 2-13? Do you know how many things have to be sour and bad for you to go in 2 years 5-27 now? And I know a lot of people are going to like this because they're ready to move on from Joe Schoen, but the results are taking care of itself here. Like there's really an argument not being made, right, for the other direction to keep Joe Schoen. Like the argument's just being made on the field for the Giants to get rid of Joe Schoen. 5-27. Like, can you imagine? Like, name a good organization. Like the Baltimore Ravens have a ton of success lately. The Baltimore Ravens are having a down season right now. Like the pressure's going to be on John Harbaugh if he stays, and you know he's earned the right to stay. He won a Super Bowl there already. But John Harbaugh and LaCosta, the GM, if they go, let's say they go 8-9 this year, whatever their record is. Let's say they only win 7. They end up going 7-10. The pressure is going to be on them next year to produce. They produce another 7-10, 6-11 season, they're probably going to lose their job. They're going to be out. They're just like, you know what, we need to move on. It's gotten stale. One way or another, there's going to be breakups. The Giants went 3-14 and are following that up with 2-13 so far. Like, I think we all agree. If they go 3-14, like, that's the max right now. And now here's the other thing. You want them to lose. Like, there's no way around it. I know it's hard when you sit down on Sunday and you're a fan of the team, of any team. It's hard to root against your team. Like, I always felt like growing up, if I ever wanted my team to lose, when I actually sat down to watch the game, the competitive juices get in you. You want to see guys do good. It's really, really hard to actually want to lose. But if there ever was a situation where you want to lose, that's this week. What are you calling it, Bobby? The Super Tank Bowl?
It's 2025 Mega Tank Bowl.
Mega Tank Bowl. Mega. Okay. I guess maybe, for proprietary reasons, I don't think you'd even say super, right? Like that's like taken. So that's right. Mega Tank Bowl. The 2025 Mega Tank Bowl. Mega. That's how big this game is. So let's just take a look at it for a second. Realistically, there's only 2 teams right now currently that'll have 2 wins. It's the Giants and the Raiders. So either of those 2 teams lose out, they're going to get the number 1 overall pick because the Giants play the Raiders in Vegas this week. The 2025 Mega Tank Bowl. It's huge. The only other team that has a chance to get the number 1 overall pick, realistic, is the Cleveland Browns. And then the Jets have like a 2% chance. But we're not going to count them in this scenario here. So the Giants are up to 36%. So 36%. It was at 16 last week. It was at 10 the week before. This is ESPN analytics. So they're taking into account that you're likely to win a game at some point. They played subpar competition. You're not talking about Washington. You're talking about Minnesota. You're talking about the Raiders. You're talking about a Cowboys team that, quite frankly, has literally nothing to play for in the final week of the season. So the likelihood is you probably win none of those games by accident. Jaxson Dart plays well. But the Giants, as K-Max says, they're broken. They are. They're a broken team. They're a broken organization. So it truly benefits them to lose out right now. And Joe Ferry says, yes, sit Andrew Thomas 100%. I don't think we're going to see Andrew Thomas the rest of the year. Andrew Thomas shouldn't even want to risk coming back and playing at this point if you're Andrew Thomas. So now, someone said the frame froze. So now you're sitting here, Giants, Raiders. You're sitting down on Sunday at 4:15, I think it is. And guess what? Deep down, you should want the Giants to lose because it's beneficial to the future of the franchise. What's best for the future franchise? A win in week 16 or 17 it is, sorry. 16th game, week 17, after the bye week. Or lose, get a better draft pick, potentially the number 1 overall pick. Now, I'm not in the crowd that thinks you're going to get this ridiculous big haul for the number 1 pick and Fernando Mendoza. I don't think this is a great year for the draft. Fernando Mendoza, I think, is a good prospect. I don't think he's a great prospect. How many teams? Do you think teams are going to be dying and jumping at the opportunity, trading multiple 3 first-round picks for a guy who's not mobile at all, really? At the NFL level? Now, that doesn't downplay the overall point here. The overarching point is that it's still beneficial for the Giants to lose and have that pick. Any extra capital, any additional capital that you can get if you're not drafting a quarterback, and I don't think the Giants should draft a quarterback. I still think Jaxson Dart should be a really good quarterback in this league. We'll get to him in a second. I think he played like garbage the other day. I think he played very poorly. And we'll get to this also. He threw 13 times. That narrative is killing me. I understand he did throw 13 times. We'll get to that in a minute. But you have Jaxson Dart. You need a ton of players, right? The Giants need depth out the wazoo. They need to fill out the roster. Their roster from top to bottom is bad. They're playing players, starting players, by the way, like Darius Musa, Elijah Chapman, DJ Davidson. These guys are getting significant playing time at times throughout the season. This is just not good enough. Deontay Banks came out and took one play for him to get unable to contain the outside and keep his leverage. Then what happened the second time, they actually benched him for Corey Black. Jalen Hyatt can't play. He doesn't play at all. He's a 3rd-round pick. Kayvon Thibodeau's been injured for much of the last 2 years. Not much, but a good chunk of the last 2 years. He's not a star player. Right? Evan Neal, forget about. He practiced 1 day last week and then had a back injury. Who knows what that means? I mean, if I'm him, I don't really want to practice. They basically said, we're not going to play you. So what the hell do you even want to practice for? So you get hurt? You're about to go to free agency and you could get hurt in practice? What does that do anybody? I don't know that's the case, but if I'm Evan Neal, that would be my thought process. Wait, you're bringing me back and then you said publicly I basically have no chance of playing? What am I going to practice for? I mean, why you bring me back to practice? But again, these are high picks. 2 firsts I just named there. Kayvon's a quality player, but he's not a star. That's the number 5 overall pick. Evan Neal doesn't play, can't play. Jalen Hyatt, 3rd-round pick, doesn't play. Deontay Banks, 1st-round pick, can't even play him. I mean, this is where the Giants are. So, yeah, losing actually benefits this team. There's no debating that. Losing out the benefits this team right now. And we already saw it last year. They won a meaningless game against the Colts. Drew Lock went out there and lit it up. And they won a meaningless game. It cost them a higher pick. But remember, week 18, game 17, what happened? Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll were told they were going to stay. And what did the Giants do? They never wanted you to say that they tanked the game. But let's be honest. They're okay with losing that final week's game. I mean, to list some of the names of the guys that played that game. The guys that didn't play that game for the Giants. Giants-Eagles. Week 18 last year. Okay? They start their starters. Most of them play, but then they don't end up playing a lot of the game. Trying to get the play time. It's all the way here at the bottom. With Malik Neighbors. Let's see. Where's Malik Neighbors here? 37 snaps. 70%. So,
wasn't out there when they had a chance to tie the game.
Yeah. So the second half, most of the second half, he's not really playing. They give 70% effort, basically. Now, their offensive line looked like it played. But, yeah. They were willing to not put Malik Neighbors out there for 100% of the plays, or even 80% of the plays. 70% is a low number for Malik Neighbors. He was basically playing 100% last year when he was healthy. So I won't say they full tanked, but they were okay with not winning. That was okay in the end. So let's not pretend it's unheard of. Now, I don't expect them to not play guys here in week 17 and 18, at least especially week 17. Because, quite frankly, Joe Schoen, his seat, and all you hear is from people around the team and around the league, is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I know a lot of you wanted to hear that. And so you think he's going to be able to just throw out a team that intentionally probably isn't going to win? I wouldn't say they're giving up, because every player that goes out there tries. These guys are trying to put on good tape. But if you don't have your best players there, you're not going all out to win. So that's kind of where we stand going to now. The other thing I wanted to get, so the Giants lose 13-10. Jaxson Dart throws for 33 yards. And the narrative coming out of this game is Mike Kafka's terrible, which may be true. He's 0-5 as a head coach. Hasn't done a very good job. Let's be honest. You guys haven't won yet. They haven't been as good offensively. Jaxson Dart's coming off a concussion. You don't want to run him on design runs as much. I get that. I understand that. And everyone said, well, they didn't even give him a chance to just hand the ball off all game. Well, the reality of the situation of what the Giants did in that game, okay? And I get it. You want to sit there and you want to say they should have run pass more on first down. Fine. Could have run pass more on first down. Could have put themselves in better shape. The reality is they wanted to slow down, and I don't think this is that bad. They wanted to slow down the pass first. Already down an interior guy, John Runyon. His wife is in labor. He got to be a late scratch. So Aaron Stinney's in. And then Andrew Thomas goes down. First two drives, 16 runs, 5 called passes for the Giants. They're running. By the way, they get all the way down to the 8-yard line both times. So can't come away with 3 points. That's the problem there. Not the running. It's getting down there and only coming away with 3 points. But they were able to run it effectively. Okay? Next 2 drives, by the way, the idea that they never let Jaxson Dart pass. Next 2 drives, 0 runs, 7 passes. The remaining 2.5 quarters of the game, almost 3 quarters of the game, 15 runs, 20 passes. So this idea, now, the problem was 5 of those passes ended up turning into sacks. One of them was a Jaxson Dart scramble run. And another 5 were penalties. So, yeah, he only threw 13 passes, but it's not like they didn't let him throw the ball. You want to argue that they didn't get him in advantageous positions. They didn't run enough play action. I think they end up running officially one play action pass in the game. And when you're running the ball that much earlier, it seems like, okay, you're setting him up for the play action. Never got to it for some reason. I could deal. That makes sense to me. But this idea the Giants never gave him a chance, they just gave him the ball to hand off, that's silly. That's not the case. 3/4 of the game, he had 20 called pass plays and 15 runs. The final 5 drives. So that to me is where we're off. The reality is he didn't play very well. He doesn't have a lot of help. They're dropping passes, which, to be quite frank, the only pass that really they dropped for him that was of any consequence at all was the Darius Slayton play. Probably would have went for about 20 yards. Theo Johnson, he threw a short one. He dropped an easy pass, but he wasn't going anywhere the first time. Second time, it turned into his interception. Shouldn't have been an interception. But again, short pass in the flat. 2 guys were standing there. Probably wasn't going anywhere for many yards, right? So they would have been completions, but not much. He underthrew, quite frankly, a wide open. Not underthrew, but he has a little tendency, Jaxson Dart, to hang balls up in the air. He likes those feathery touch passes, which look beautiful. But you've seen in the wind, they kind of can hang up there a little bit. He got Wan'Dale Robinson crushed on a play where he probably, if he drove the ball a little better, I think would have been a completion. And he, quite frankly, just didn't play great. Holding the ball a little long, taking sacks. It's not like he wasn't trying to run. Jaxson Dart was trying to scramble when the pressure came. The Vikings did an excellent job. I went back and looked at the sacks. Like they were staying in their lanes and really giving him nothing to go, but he was trying to run. So, yeah, if you want the Giants to go out there and run QB dive like they were with Brian Daboll, or have him go out there and just go play flat out hero ball, that's fine. What purpose, though, does that serve? To me, that doesn't make sense if that's what you want. What purpose does that? Don't let him play his game. Like, what purpose does that serve at this point? What he needs to do, what the Giants need Jaxson Dart to do, is become better pocket passer, become better in the pocket. Lamar Jackson is an all-world athlete. He became the MVP kind of guy when he became a better passer and was able to successfully throw from the pocket. He doesn't have to do it all the time. You still want him to run. You still want him to move around. You still want to do all those things. But in a season where you're 2-12 coming into this game, you don't need Jaxson Dart, who's taken a lot of big hits this year. We've gone over that. We've gone over that discussion. He had a concussion, but 2 games back coming into this one. You don't need him going out there and taking hits and trying to play hero ball like to what? To win a meaningless game, and then you'll complain that they should have tanked, they should have lost. No, what they need him to do, and that's why I have no problem with it, is actually not calling all these design runs, because revisionist history is like, he was so much better with Brian Daboll. Yeah, Brian Daboll also, let's not forget, revisionist history, was running QB dives down 3 scores in the red zone in the 4th quarter because he was concerned about pumping up stats, making him and Dart look good late in these games when they were down three scores. That's not beneficial for anybody. Now, granted, they were better with Brian Daboll. He was better with Brian Daboll. But, as a Giants fan, as the Giants, you don't need him to, you shouldn't want him to play like that and do that right now. So, that's where I stand on it. Abdul Carter, another strong game. The only problem is a bonehead play thrown in there. Lines up offside. Bobby, did you go back and look at that by any chance? I haven't really. It was hard to see live.
His hand was. If this is the line of scrimmage, this was his hand. So.
All right. Still,
and this screwdriver I have next to me is me trying to not stab you through the screen. Go ahead.
Why you're bad about the Jaxson Dart, Mike Kafka stuff?
Well, let's just get into it.
All right, hold on.
You're misconstruing what people are trying to say.
Hold on. Let's bring in Bobby. On to the next one.
All right, let's bring in Bobby. Timestamp.
Timestamp that for me.
You're missing what people are saying. People are not saying Dart played well, because Dart did play. He played really bad at a lot of bad moments in this game. they threw the ball this amount of time. Okay, but they on first down they had. Let me see. I have it right here. They ran the ball 14 times on first down. They threw the ball 3 times, and the run game did work pretty well. The issue, though, and this
Are
is
you
something.
counting the negated plays and the sacks, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
The issue is when you play a team like Minnesota, that's a way to simplify their defense. I remember I went on a Vikings podcast and I was like, the Giants did this last year and it totally backfired. Because what happens is you can get some good running, and they did. The issue is that you're not a good enough run team to not get yourself into third down. And third down is when the Vikings are their best, and the play calling was bad on third down. So you need some first down drop back passing, number one. Again, don't need to go crazy, but you need some of that to give Dart a ability to feel out this defense a little bit. And if he doesn't see something, check it down, because the way to really attack the Vikings defense is to attack it, not to get a bunch of quick passes out. They have guardrails in place to try and force you to get the ball out quick, but also have all the quick stuff covered. And the Giants just didn't play that way. Coach called the game that way. The other thing is no play action off the run game. That's something that Dart needs to get better at, but that's weird. So Dart played badly in this game. There's a lot of bad moments on film for him. This was a bad approach to this game, I think, in a lot of people's opinion, because it put too much of the emphasis on, well, we got third down. Now Dart can throw the ball. And you don't want to live in third down against the Minnesota Vikings. It's like they saw how bad last year went week 1. And they basically ran the exact same game plan,
I don't see it necessarily that way. I thought I thought they only came with that game plan early in the game, and then they tried to alter it from there. Now, I agree with you on the play action and stuff. Could have thrown a couple more first down passes early in the game just to get him in a rhythm. I probably would have gone that route personally. But you're trying to slow down the pass rush, and then they tried to switch it up midway. I think that was the intention. The thing is, they didn't have any success whatsoever throwing the football. Literally none. He threw for 33 yards. He threw for 5 yards in the first half.
It was all at second down, and then the last drive of the half, which again he should have had 2 interceptions.
There was 4 drives in the first half. Okay, the first 2 drives they ran the ball like every time. The next 2 drives, they threw the ball all 7 times. Or they went back to throw it all 7 times. I don't think they actually threw the ball all 7 times. But, yeah, Dart sacked. He tried to run
But like that Wan'Dale Robinson
Dart incomplete deep right to Wan'Dale Robinson. Thought it hung up a little bit. Then he takes a delay of game, by the way. And then he throws the short pass intercepted to Theo Johnson.
But that Wan'Dale Robinson play, like he should have either put more zip on that ball up the seam or put it more towards the middle of the field and allow Robinson to go and catch it. Mm-hmm. But that should have been an example of like, hey, this is the way to attack this defense. That's where they're going to be vulnerable, because they left it vulnerable all game and they didn't do it. It was like they just kept on running a bunch of Wan'Dale choice routes, and they were like looking for that. They called basically a perfect game plan against a bad game plan. Also, with that, I don't want to get into a whole back and forth about the game plan. I don't think that's what
at this point, like the games don't even matter. Let's be honest. Like
because you may think the game plan was okay. I may think it wasn't bad. Jaxson Dart didn't like the game plan. There's a WFAN clip of C-Mac, friend of the show, basically saying things maybe a little more different than me, but just like, hey, this is a bad game plan. They've neutered him ever since they let Dable left. Not talking about running or whatever, just the way they went so run heavy, not Jaxson Dart wise in this game. Jaxson Dart likes it on Instagram. We all know that when you like something like that on Instagram, you're not doing it just because you want it put in your algorithm when you have people that follow you. You're doing it because you kind of want to show that you're pissed off about it. So what do you think about that? What have you heard about that since Kafka's taken over? Because Dart clearly isn't a fan.
Yeah, I just think, look, Jaxson Dart, I think you've seen it and you've heard it, Bobby. Like, he wants to be like, just let loose and go play, right? He wants to play that hero ball. He wants to dive into Zach Bowen's chest. Like, that's his preference, right? He wants to play super aggressive. So they've pulled it back a little bit. They're not calling Like he wants QB dives down 3 scores. Like that's what set that whole thing up, right? They're losing, and Dable kept doing that. And we're all like, well, he's going to get injured eventually, right? Because he did that 2 games in a row late in the game, right, Bobby? Am I wrong? I think it was back to back.
What say it
where
again?
they were down 3 scores and they're running the draws and the dives with Dart late in the games.
Yeah, and the 49ers and the Eagles game.
The 49, yes, the Eagles game that they lost. That's what it was. And so that's what set up. Okay, they're losing. Plus, he's putting the quarterback in danger. And then ultimately they lost again. They blew a game and he actually got hurt. When the getting hurt part was a little different. It wasn't running QB dive down up 3 scores in the third quarter. But that just showed you he was going to do whatever he could to try to save his job at that point. Like there was no, okay, this isn't best for the quarterback. It's not best for the quarterback to do that. But Jaxson Dart, in my opinion, like that's how he wants to play. He doesn't mind doing that. He'll take the risk. And it's on the organization, obviously, to say, hey, we don't want to do that, right? Like you, as a Giant fan, Bobby, you think that's you want the Giants to do that?
I think you're like getting lost in the whole Jaxson Dart running thing. I don't think Jaxson Dart is saying he's neutered of like we're not running QB power at the goal line. I think it was just, hey, we went run first, run pass, run pass, run pass. It's what Mike Kafka has. If you ask what has Mike Kafka changed about the Giants offense since he's being the head coach, it's been that without play action off it. They did the same thing against the Packers. They did it against the Lions as well. The Lions, they play action. The Patriots game in the third quarter, they're running the ball like crazy. I feel like I don't think Jaxson Dart is mad that they didn't run 7 different QB powers yesterday. I think it's because they just didn't ever really put the game in his hands until it was third down. And I put on the screen, this is the Jaxson Dart liking the WFAN clip.
Yeah, I see that. I don't know. To me, that just seems a little misguided. I'm looking at this here. Like it was, okay, run the whole for the next 2 drives, the third and 4th drives. It's pass. Then you start the second half, and it is run, pass, but they get a first down. And then, run, pass. And then the next time again, it's not. It's pass on second down, pass on first down. So I don't know. To me, it's not as egregious as maybe that is what he doesn't like. But I just think, and you asked me my opinion on this, is what he wants to do is just be more aggressive running the football, like and just play and go out there and just sort of freelance. Whereas they're trying to put him in more structure because ultimately, if you don't have more structure, you're not going to be able to win in the NFL consistently. Let's be honest. They got to have some more structure. Like you can't just run around all the time, right? You have to be able to read. You have to be able to process. You have to be able to do some more damage from the pocket. You have to be able to play under pressure. He was bad under pressure yesterday too.
Yeah, but this is the NFL now. Like you don't remove those things to try and teach them. You slowly integrate, and that's what to credit Dable. That's what Dable did, right? The Chargers game, crazy Ole Miss type offense, and he slowly integrated some of those things in. Struggled with some things, pull them back, bring them back. Like you have to integrate it. Like that's one of my I think that's one of the worst thing coaches do is this quarterback has to get better in this. Let's just make him do this and sit here. I see it always at the Senior Bowl, right? Like Jalen Milroe, young quarterback, he's got to work on pocket passing. He didn't do anything. Like he just didn't do any playmaking at the Senior Bowl. He just sat in the pocket and was terrible the entire time. Like you have to do both, obviously. And it's not like Jaxson Dart is, running for 900 yards and throwing for 110 yards per game. Like he's made his plays in the air too.
It's not like he wasn't trying to run yesterday, though. They didn't call him design runs. He was trying to run.
So what is the point, though? Because I feel like we're getting so lost in the sauce of like Jaxson Dart game planning. What is the point? Jaxson Dart doesn't like the game planning, whether that's letting him run, whether it's throwing on first down, whether it's not running concepts that they were running before. Like Kafka has done a
what does
bad
it matter?
job.
What does it matter at this point, then? Like seriously, let's say he hates Mike Kafka, which I don't think is actually the case. But let's say he does. Kafka's not going to be here much longer. So like, does it really matter? Like, what are we even worrying about that for then?
I think the main I agree, which is why I don't know why we're spending 20 minutes on.
Well, you asked me about it, and I told you what I think. He wants to actually run and run around and just that's how he plays, and he wants to do that. And you're telling me, that you're getting into you don't like how they do. They're neutering him. It's for
the clip
pass.
itself was about them being so run heavy in the game yesterday. So like that's what the C-Mac clip was about. With that though, with the coaching search, I hope this is a reminder for the New York Giants. And I'll probably hit this on our mailbag this week, that you don't just need to sprinkle a little leadership on this team. Like offensive identity and Jaxson Dart is the most important thing when looking for your next head coach. The offensive coordinator the offensive play caller is either going to be the number one reason to hire that head coach because he's that guy, or it's got to be, you got to have a really good feeling of who that head coach is going to bring in for that job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, anyone who comes in there who's not an offensive coach and going to run the offense is going to have a really good plan as an offensive coordinator. There's no doubt about that. So, and you have everyone against me, by the way. I see all these people. You're talking, you don't want him to run. You don't want him to run. I do want Jaxson Dart.
I just feel like you've gotten lost on that topic when I don't know anybody. That has not been part of my conversation on social media the last 24 hours, is like not running QB power or anything. It was simply just they ran so much that they always ended up in third down, and that's what happened. Now, I know you're saying, well, this drive they did that. Well, yeah, they got put in 1st and 20 on one drive, so they tried to throw out of that. The other one was the end of the half. Like on first down, this is the stat you come back to. They ran the ball 14 times, threw it 3 times.
All right, let's just move on then.
What do you?
We have a difference of opinion on that. I don't think that's what his complaint is. You guys think it is? You think that Mike Kafka's a terrible coach? He ran it a lot on first down. That's what he's pissed at. I told you I didn't think that was the reason. You don't want to. You don't want to accept that. I don't think that's the reason.
Are you guys going to ask? Actually, that's a good question. What's the schedule like this week for you guys?
They're in tomorrow. We're not. They're in Wednesday. We'll be there. And so I definitely will ask them about that.
Okay.
And then everyone's off Thursday, Christmas. And then we're back there Friday. And then, travel Saturday and game Sunday.
Because I think it's fair game to ask about that because,
No, if you're gonna put that out there and it's social and public,
people are gonna see that. It's like when I hated certain people, I just started liking a bunch of Instagram reels about how.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna ask
stupid.
him. I'm not gonna shape it anyway. But like, what did you mean when you liked that post about whatever, blah 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 blah, whatever the post is.
I'm interested to see what C-Mac says about it tonight. All right, let's get into some other stuff. It's kind of, I guess, on the same page. What's the mood like in the building? I mean, I feel like it's got to be pretty grating on them at this point.
Outside through the season. Yeah, let's just get through the season kind of deal. The locker room after a game like that is not demoralized anymore. Like everyone's numb to it. There's laughing in the locker room going on, normal conversations. It's just like, all right, we played a game, we got through it. I mean, Darius Slayton was despondent afterwards when I saw him, but obviously another humongous drop there that was very costly. I'm taking it hard, but like most of the locker room, and by the time I got in there, was just normal conversations.
Yeah, I guess I want to hear about some, like, what was the Slayton? Did you guys talk with Slayton? Was he just kind of head down and by himself in the corner?
You start off. I went to Kafka's press conference, you go to the locker room after that. And sometimes guys leave real quick and they're out quick and early. So Slayton was out early and he was actually walking in the hallway to leave. And I was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And he didn't even like pick his head up. Like he looked like he just, saw a ghost. So, yeah, that was it. I don't know if anyone spoke to him. I wasn't in the locker room when it originally opened, but what are you going to say at that point? He knows he cost the team.
Yeah, it's been a brutal season for him. Like he's always had drop issues, but I feel like the drop issues have been worse this year and they've been in bigger moments. And I said it on our podcast last night. I was like, he's only had 4 games of over 50 yards without Malik Neighbors in the lineup. So he hasn't had those games not to make up for it, but to at least balance out some of the drops.
Yeah, it looked like he was about to, and then he got banged up and then kind of reverted back again.
Yeah, so it's been a terrible season for Darius. I think it's his
You
worst
want to
season
play
of
a
his
little
career.
game?
Yeah, hit me.
What do you think ESPN system Darius Slayton drops, number of drops?
The official number is not super high because a lot of these are with like somebody in coverage on him and getting some hands on him. I bet you it's only like 4.
Yeah, you nailed it. What do you think Theo Johnson has?
He's probably at like 7.
Yep. Look at you.
How
Now
about that? I
Yeah.
got a great recall. I mean, I guess that happens when you watch the game live, rewatch the condensed version afterwards, watch the film, and then do a film review. I guess you remember.
Yeah. And Wandale has 2. So like people are like, oh, the Giants receivers drop everything. The reality is they don't have a ton of drops. Like maybe we could sit here. I mean, everyone's graded equally. Like, so we could say the same about, who the 2 top guys in the league are humongous names.
Yeah, but they also get a bunch of targets too. So like that, but Slayton, and again, Slayton doesn't get counted for like the 49ers game. That probably doesn't get counted as a drop. That one, the Saints one probably doesn't get like. So there's sometimes there's like, hey man, I understand this is not a clear cut drop. You got someone pulling at your arm, but you need to make the damn catch.
No, I know ESPN is actually the same. There is Saints one is a drop here. ESPN, like our system that we use is True Media. It's usually very tough with drops. Like there's plays that I think are drops usually that are not considered drops, but they did consider the deep ball to Slayton in New Orleans a drop.
Which I agree that you should be very conservative with drop rate stats. But when we watch the games, there is plays where it's like that doesn't get counted as a drop.
Obviously, they called the one yesterday a drop. They called the one in Washington the previous week a drop. So only one, not the deep ball. Okay, so those are the ones that just somehow don't end up sometimes getting considered drops in our system.
I obviously want to get to some Joe Schoen stuff in here as well, but I want to do some cleanup stuff before we get there.
All right, let's go.
Kayvon goes to IR. Obviously was trying to come back, missed 4 games before being put on IR. What do you get from the team's thoughts on Kayvon, Kayvon's thoughts on the team, and then what happened to where he didn't come back when they were clearly trying to bring him back and he was clearly trying to come back?
Yeah, they were trying to bring him back. I don't know. I've seen him, but not really had an opportunity to speak to him. So haven't really heard exactly, but he definitely was trying to come back. I think the Giants just said, is it really worth trying to bring him back at this point? Right. They needed a roster spot. So somebody had to be moved. And they said, is it really worth having Kayvon back for the final? Like to get him to come back after missing, was it 4 or 5? Whatever it is. And to have him come back and play him for the final 2 games of the season after he missed 4 or 5 games, I think they just decided it's not worth it in this case. I think they think Kayvon what he is what he is. He's a solid player, right? He's not a spectacular player. He's not a guy who's you could just put on the edge and say, go win one-on-one consistently, right? Like he's actually I think you look at him, he's a solid pass rusher and a solid run defender, but he's not great at either of them.
I agree with that. And, he's a streaky pass rusher as well, too. If he played the whole season like he did the first 4 games, then I'd be banging on the table. Let's figure out a way to get him extended. But he is who he is. I don't see huge improvements happening next year. And Kayvon, I don't think is jumping at a, whatever deal that makes sense. Like I don't think he's jumping at a fair deal. He'd rather just wait to another year, let the cap rise and hit the open market.
Wouldn't you if you were him?
No, I'm not blaming him. What I'm saying is, doesn't that sound like a guy you trade in the offseason then?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, definitely you try. Look, you already have a player at that position too. Now you don't need more depth, clearly. But it would, logic would say that's a guy that you can get an asset back for. I mean, you don't have that much control. That's the only thing that limits the amount you get back from him in return. But, if you're Kayvon, like you said, you don't just want to take any deal. You say, I want to play myself into a big deal, right? I want to show what I can do and go out there and stay healthy next year and put up some numbers, and then I could get paid. So I think it's a tough spot for the Giants. But, I think it's definitely something that they should explore going into this offseason, given where the roster's at.
Yeah, it just feels like there's not a happy balance there with Kayvon. Like if he was drafted in the second round, it wasn't someone who prided himself on being business savvy and having a life after football and all that. I feel like we'd all be like, yeah, let's get a deal done. But it feels like that's not going to happen with him individually. So I think that would probably be new GM. What's one of those moves that you make? It would be a Kayvon trade. So we got on that. Golston, I thought has looked okay. He just hasn't been healthy. Let's see what I wanted to do. So I know we just did the whole like Dable Kafka thing. What is the mood around like Kafka? Like whether it's front office people, coaching staff, Kafka himself. What are the thoughts on Kafka? Like, is there any chance he brings back an OC, or is that kind of out the window at this point? Because it felt like they were pining for that to happen just a week or two ago.
Yeah, I think it's possible. It depends who the coach is. If that's the coach's plan, like, do you think that's a terrible plan?
Well, here's the issue: is that we don't know how much was him versus Dable for 3.5 years, and since he's become the interim head coach, it feels like he's doing an interim head coach thing and saying we're just going to run the ball. Yeah, which I don't think is his true identity. But he might be. I want a fresh start. Like if the next head coach hire is important, I want him to bring his own person. Would we be pining for them to bring in Mike Kafka as OC if this guy was becoming the head coach of the New Orleans Saints? Probably not. So I want a fresh start. I
kind of agree with you.
I've been on that even before.
Needs a fumigation and start over. So
yeah.
I think you're better off. It's a better plan than bring in a guy something new and fresh from the outside than to just continue to roll it back. It's probably best for Kafka too to go somewhere else at this point.
Speaking of head coaches, Marcus Freeman has been the name that's getting the most buzz. Mike Garafolo mentions it. It just feels like that name has been out there a ton. Ian O'Connor said it on the show. I mentioned him on the show on Friday. He did a New York press junket a few weeks ago. What's the word on Marcus Freeman, the head coach of the non-Pop Dart poll playing Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to someone the other day, and what I'm reading it from my phone, and this person's kind of in the know in the coaching circle around the league, and he'll be in mix with NYG, like definitively, like no doubt. Look, this guy is going to be a candidate with the Giants. We know the connection. Tim McDonald, big Notre Dame guy, worked there in the past, has a big connection to the school. So he obviously knows that program. He knows, I assume he knows Marcus Freeman really well. And it's someone the Giants we know are interested in. So he's going to be in the mix. So the fact that he's throwing his hat into the ring there makes me think that, he's got a pretty good shot, because usually a guy like that, he has a really good job, right? He makes a lot of money. What does he make? $10 million a year? $10 or $12 million a year?
Yeah, whatever. I think sometimes with these college coaches, I think maybe they're trying to just boost their contract status up. I remember his name was brought up with, the Florida Gators and stuff earlier in the year.
I mean, the quick Google AI search says $9 to $10 million range. Like he won't like that. So he's already got a really good job. So if you're even going to look into another job, you have to know you're going to be a serious candidate, right? So the fact that he's in this mix, that's what I'm saying. The fact that this person assured to me that he's going to be in this mix makes me think he is a very serious candidate that we should watch for.
I think if he was like looking to go to the NFL, I think the Giants would just hire him. I think John Mara would simply just hire him. I just would it's hard to figure out.
You got to go through a process with these coaching searches, though. That's the thing. You can't just flat out hire him right now. You know what I mean?
No, but you can, just like Joe Schoen, you can go into a search knowing who your favorite is. I mean, I think Freeman is taking it somewhat serious, though.
Which is why the fact that when I hear this stuff, it makes me think, yeah, he's probably the favorite.
Yeah. I think he might be even looking for position coaches, testing the waters of, are you willing to, go to the NFL with me?
I'm
Um,
sure he is. Like that's a lot of guys. I mean, that's what's going on around the league right now. Candidates for head coaching jobs are sort of aligning a staff just in case they get hired. Say, hey, would you be interested in coming here? Like those kind of things are going on behind the scenes. That's exactly what's going on right now.
Let's hit the elephant in the room. We got one more. There's one more episode after this where we will even discuss this as a question. Joe Schoen. Where are we at? I spent last night, Jordan, like being like, man, maybe they just get it done tomorrow. They're looking for reasons to keep him, and they just keep losing. And the losing, it's not just losing good game, close games to non-playoff teams like the Detroit Lions. It's
now they're losing to bad teams. I think that actually almost might. Does that look worse?
Yeah, I mean, you losing to the Vikings with their backup quarterback Max Brosmer is like that is pathetic. Obviously defensively they had a really good game, but like that is pathetic. So where are we at with Joe Schoen? Is it inevitable, or is this still like coming down to the wire?
Yeah, well, my thing is I didn't think they would fire him on Christmas week. That was my first initial thought. Like, so and there's what's the rush to make that move right now? So even if that were the case, I just didn't think that this was the ideal spot for that. But you are hearing more and more that ownership is not happy. And how could you be, man? You're 2-13 coming off a 3-14 season. Like John Mara's thing is always, I want to feel good about the direction my team is heading, walking off the field, the final game of the season. How can you feel that way? Like, name me a scenario you can feel that way. What, you beat the Dallas Cowboys in week 7, week 18? I'm good. These weeks are killing me.
Dude, it messes me up too. It's the odd thing, right? It's just I've been like, oh,
right. It's game 17, but it's week 18. Like, yeah.
It's messed me up. But you know what? The NFL, we need one more game. Could you imagine having to do 3 more games? So
so everything I understand is his seat is getting even hotter than it was, and doesn't seem to be trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Giants. Like, it's when it, like, you think you're low on them, and they're like, no, you're not. You are not low enough. Like the whole the meme of like, I'm having a bad day, and it's like, not bad enough. We're gonna make it worse. Like, that is what the New York Giants do every single week. Like, to have a 10-game losing streak be a franchise record, break that franchise record, and then follow it up the next year and be like, yeah, we're at 9 the next season.
So the only way to do it would be to lose out, Bobby. You want to set a new record? Get that number 1 pick? Lose out.
Which I am.
Are you openly, like, are you able to sit down and root for them to lose?
This week I will. Usually I'm not like into that or whatever. This week I am flat out doing it. It's very much I don't have any control of what's going on. I do want to see Giants players do well for the most part. When there's 6 games left or 5 games left, I'm just like, they're going to win one. Now that we're down to the final 2 weeks, and this is the mega tank bowl against the Raiders, the
2025 mega tank bowl.
Yeah, like, this is for the first pick in this game. I am flat out rooting for them in this game. Right?
I would assume the analytics go up to what, like 80-90% if whoever the loser of this game. I'll actually have them do that. I'll actually have them. No, because you could easily just lose in week 18. Win in week 18.
But here's the thing: is I think the Raiders are going to win in week 18. The Chiefs are putting their players on ice.
The concern for the Giants. The concern for the Giants isn't the Chiefs in that scenario; it's the Browns.
Yeah. So, but I think Doug Analytics said that
Browns play the Steelers this week, so they're probably not winning.
Hold on. You know what? People are interested in this. I'm actually going to do a segment off this based off of Doug's stuff on the preview pod.
The Browns play the Steelers. The Browns are at home this week against the Steelers. And then week 18, they're on the road against the Bengals.
Yeah. So the Browns have a guaranteed – they do have if they're tied, Browns will pick higher than the Giants. The Giants, if the Titans and Cardinals have the same record, will be picking higher.
The Giants have a worse strength of schedule. The only team that has a worse strength of schedule than the Browns, which would make them Browns win the tiebreaker over the Giants, is Cleveland. Like Oakland, I call them Oakland. Vegas has a better strength of schedule. The Jets, I think, were essentially tied with the Giants, but they're not. They can't. They're basically can't get there. So, yeah. So if the Giants lose this week, the big threat then becomes the Browns. The only threat, even almost basically, right?
Yeah.
The only threat is the Browns. So,
yep. Want to get to a couple other things before we go to the chat.
All right. Let's rip through them.
This is a great question from my ghostwriter, and I was wondering the same thing. What happened with position coach interviews last week? Did they happen? Number one, and number two, they weren't posted on the website.
Oh, yeah, they happened. There wasn't a ton of us. There was only a few of us there. I don't know why they didn't post them.
They've been getting shorter and shorter on the website too, where they're like 15 minutes now. They used to
And
be like
also,
40 minutes.
the thing is, when we have these, like people like me, I don't want to do when I ask questions to the coaches, I don't want to put them on camera and give them to everybody else. Because if I'm doing a story and it's going to be on the Giants quarterbacks at the end of the season, like I want to ask Shea Tierney questions to the side without the cameras there. Because I'm not going to use it for another, I don't know, 6 weeks at this point.
Well,
so why them? Why would I want to have them in front of the camera?
All right, so two things. Number one, selfish.
Selfish. I know.
Three things actually. Number two.
Let me just, before you get to number two, if you're going to learn something about me, is I'm not shy about the fact, and most people just lie about this, but most people are like 90% of what you do is like this. You're worried about how it affects you and yourself.
Oh yeah, everyone's like that. It's like when draft analysts pretend like they're rooting for quarterbacks they thought were going to be bad to be good in the NFL. It's like, no, you're not. You are rooting for JJ McCarthy to be bad. You know, I'm rooting for JJ McCarthy to be bad. If he's good, will I sit there and say, oh, actually he's not good, which some draft analysts do? No, I won't do that.
By the way, watching him in person, I feel pretty good. If I were you,
he's terrible. He's too small too. He gets beat up.
I don't even think that's the problem. His accuracy is the biggest problem to me. I mean, he just doesn't have it. The play that he turned the ball over. Think about the way that they played that. Kevin O'Connell, that was so stupid. The way they handled the end of the first half. They weren't even trying to score. They're taking their time, and then they set their quarterback up to get killed, and turn it over for a touchdown.
Well, to be fair, it was a screen pass, and Abdul Carter, the superstar.
Yeah, but you can't trust the quarterback. Obviously.
Yeah. But number two with that is what was the point I was making? Is myself and Research Rick are gonna watch it. I'm gonna clip it up. Nobody cares about those outside of 500 people on Twitter. Think about how many people read your stories and think about how many people are actually watching the clip. Like every once in a while, one of those position coach things gets a lot of views, but for the most part, it is nobody's actually watching them.
Why? Because then you take it, and if it's something that they say something good, you take it, you put it on social. Someone else sees it, takes it, puts it on social. Someone else takes it, puts it on social.
But that never happens with the position coach interviews.
If it's a good quote.
The last thing, I'll save the last two for after the chat. I want to talk about how the live show went. And then there's another on the beat question. So let's take it to questions. Let me write down the timestamp. We got a couple super chats. Bill Loney show said Maris says that he doesn't want to trade players at the trade deadline because he doesn't want the fans to think the Giants quit when the fans quit on this team by week 8 every year. So not much a question, more so a statement. That's where I finally, because I used to be like very anti, like I'm never rooting for my team to lose a game. And I finally swipped. I'm like, you know what? Don't put me in the situation every single year where we need to have this conversation. Like God bless Carl Banks for still arguing with people that like players don't tank. Like we know, but hey, like we're in this situation every year. The 1 or 2 wins they get does not roll over. It does no good. We don't care anymore. If this happened once every 5 years, yeah, I think it'd be less of us like all out rooting for a tank. When it happens every year, we've learned how this story goes. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I mean, you should. I think it's always just to me, a team should be run by how do you get to the whole point is winning a championship, right? So the quickest way or the best way to get your team in position to win a championship should always be the goal to me. Not, all right, let's salvage a win or two this season. And I don't think the Giants generally have the same concept and approach. So I think it's a mistake.
Well, here's the thing: is they can never preach to us about it. Last year, they didn't. Tank may not be the word. They did not try and beat the Eagles in the last year. They benched a bunch of players. They put every single backup in the game. Deontay Johnson, Josh Azudu, cornerback. They put every single backup in the game. They had a chance to tie it at the end, and they put Malik Neighbors on the bench for that series. They were not trying to win that game. You can't ever tell us again that teams never do this, because they did it themselves. Even though
what did it correlate with when Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll were told they're going to return?
Correct. So I'm not expecting that this year because
Joe Schoen is not going to be told, oh yeah, you're 100% safe. You could go 2-15.
Matt Smith says Paul Schwartz is begging for a Shane extension. Thanks for the super chat. Philip Brandstetter says, do you think due to
no comment from me this time?
No comment. Do you think due to high? Actually, that's a question. Does that get brought up at all in your guys' little circles of these these super chats that are basically there to make you feel uncomfortable?
No, not really. Yeah,
okay,
not really.
Do you think due to high financial commitment, reported $50 million buyout, if they hire Freeman, they'd let him hire his GM? So first head coach, then GM. That's something where I've never really considered. Could we see that for the first time with the Giants, where they hire the head coach, then the GM? It's not. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, to be honest. Right? I know Jacksonville, we're only 1 year in, but it's looked well with that. It worked with the Chargers with Harbaugh and Ortiz.
You're handing the keys to the head coach in that situation, though. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but you have to be honest about what it is.
Yeah.
That's like Jim Harbaugh's. He's the ultimate decision maker, right? If it comes down to the two guys fighting over something, he's the guy.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. But Liam Cohen, it's not like he, has a bunch of clout in the NFL. He only got one interview for head coaches last year, and they did that.
I think that was a unique situation for sure.
Yeah. The team with the cheapest coaches over the last 10 seasons is paying $50 million.
I don't think the team would pay it, to be honest with you, right? That's something the coach would basically.
Wait, what?
You think that the team, the NFL team, is going to pay his buyout?
Yeah. Wouldn't it?
I can't imagine that. I agree with Joe here. The Giants aren't going to pay $50 million on top of it and going to get him. And be like, that's your problem, Marcus Freeman.
I don't know how that works. That's a good
question. We'll pay you a salary. You're in charge of the buyout.
But I guess you'd have to pay him. I guess you get to pay it directly or indirectly, anyways. Peter Randoza, I'm not rooting for losses because of draft seeding. I'm rooting for losses so Shane has handed his hat. I think a lot of people resonate with that a little bit, especially they have a quarterback. And I think so. I am less invested in the first overall pick. I think a lot of people resonate with that. A lot of Notre Dame stuff here with the Freeman. Imagine the drama if the Giants hire Freeman and Jeremiah Levis on the board. Top 10. Yeah, imagine Dragons. Ghost Dog 2252.
I mean, it would be interesting for the Giants to dip back into the running back market of the top 10 in draft. But they have a quarterback this time, so it does change the situation a little bit, and you would think it wouldn't be at number 2 overall. But
yeah, as I've matured in content, I've less the Twitter talking heads of this and value. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes about getting good players. I think the one thing I'm not moving off of is drafting a running back in the top 10. Unless you are a team that has an extra first, unless you're the Rams who have a pick in the top 10 because the Falcons screwed up. Then
you're a team that's super close, and that's okay, this is our last piece kind of deal.
Here's a question from Doug. What is Brian Daboll up to these days? When are we ever going to see him resurface? Is it going to be when he gets an offensive coordinator job with the Eagles? Your Eagles?
Yeah, my Eagles. Yeah, he very quiet. I haven't heard much about it at all, to be honest with you. It's been very quiet. I think that was real about Daboll. At least throwing his hat into the ring from a distance about Penn State, but I don't know if that went much further than that. But yeah, he's done a good job of staying quiet, out of the spotlight. Aside from the New York Post sniping him from a distance that one day.
What was that?
I don't know. They got pictures of him leaving. His house.
Oh, the pictures. Yeah,
leaving his house. I don't know.
That takes a lot of self-control to not like back channel some stories in your favor. Like,
well, I didn't say he didn't do that.
He really hasn't, though. The only thing that's come out was the whole, like, they were, showing Dable videos or Dart videos of, like, quarterback sliding and shit. Like, there really hasn't been that. Maybe it happens eventually, but there hasn't been that.
I got a question that I thought some guy would ask.
Which one is it?
It's on. He sent it to me via Instagram recently. He said, "Can you answer it on the pod?" So he said, "If the Giants end up with the first pick and hire a new GM and coach, don't you have to let them draft a quarterback if they feel that quarterback is better than Dart?" And I would say yes. Like if they were 100%, convicted that quarterback is better than Jaxson Dart, then yeah, if that's their desire, you have to let them do that, right?
But it'd be insane to have that type of conviction over a college player when we've seen Dart do some really good things in the NFL. Like nobody's like. I mean, I won't say nobody.
Dart. It's. I don't know.
You can simultaneously not crown Dart as the savior of the franchise and also say he's done a lot of good things and he gets a year or two no matter what. And you can evaluate the quarterbacks, but in reality, is you're not drafting one.
There are people out there in the NFL. Let's not be naive about it. That say that he's not very good at processing and throwing in the pocket. I don't really love him. I know there is. I mean, I get some text messages from people around the league, and
a lot of times
there are people. I like him. Pete here says I don't like him. I'm just telling you, there are people that say that. I think he has a chance to be a really good quarterback in the NFL.
I don't put much emphasis in people around the NFL who have priors from their draft analysis, just like I do, and aren't really diving into the film and just kind of sticking with what they say. Like I think it's a ridiculous scenario, honestly.
I do too, by the way. Like that's my opinion, but I'm just saying I know at least one or two coaches out there that I've talked to that if they had the option, like they would look and they had the number one pick and they liked one of these guys, they'd probably go elsewhere. They're not the biggest Jaxson Dart fans in the world.
Yeah, I bet you they say that, and then if they got put in a situation, they actually wouldn't do that because everyone's a badass when it's not them.
There's some more people have tell me they like him and they would definitely keep him and that they like him as a candidate. But I'm just saying there are people out there that aren't in love with him. It's possible.
Yeah, again,
is all I gotta say.
I'm not saying people have to be in love with him, but to watch what he's done this year and be like, yeah, we just got to move on. Like, I think that'd be a terrible waste of assets.
Well, I think you would do it if the right opportunity presented itself. It would have to be the ridiculous opportunity. Yeah, someone said Mike Tannenbaum. You can name. It's not Mike Tannenbaum, but I was on the show. I was on the show with him the other day, and he absolutely sounded like he would go take Fernando Mendoza. He liked it better as a prospect than Jaxson Dart.
That makes me feel good about my opinion then.
I argued against him with that, by the way, too. Like I wouldn't give up on Jaxson Dart. I think Jaxson Dart could be a really good quarterback in the NFL.
New York Sports Addict, do you think Raiders will sit their starters this week? No, don't see Pete Carroll doing that.
Yeah. Pete Carroll's kind of in a similar situation, it seems, as Joe Schoen right now.
Yeah, they've lost 9 straight. Patrick Wall just gave 199. I didn't see if he asked a question, so we missed it.
Thank you, Patrick. Regardless, if you do have a question, put it back in.
Oh, someone said, "What has been Mayer's biggest weakness as an owner?" Oh my God, we got a big one. Let's do this one. What has been Mayer's biggest weakness as an owner?
I think it's pretty easy. I mean, that's super easy. Like he hasn't done a good job hiring coaching candidates and GM candidates, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Reese was there, so that was just kind of. But since then, it's been Gettleman, Shane, and then the coaches. Like, let's be fair; those are the hires on his resume. It hasn't been good. So, whatever skills he's looking for, he hasn't been able to locate the right skills for a head coach and general manager. His hires have been, quite frankly, bad.
Yeah. We're going to save that big one for last. So let's get through this. Hypothetical. If the Steelers miss the playoffs, they'd in theory look for a new QB. Would our first for Pitts first and Tomlin be realistic for both? So he's saying that we would trade our first round pick.
No, the Giants first cannot be on the board for anyone. That's not realistic. They can have the number 1 pick in the draft. You're not giving that up for a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, that's too much.
And you're dropping down to the teams that.
Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I don't even know if I would take Mike Tomlin if he was on the open market. Like, I'm not all in on that. So I'm definitely not trading for him.
Yeah. Again, a lot of Jordan Raanan, Eagles fan.
It is just a fact. All right, so let's finish on this. So please, no more super chats, anybody. This one's from Durango. Big time super chat. Happy holidays, gentlemen. Hope you continue this collab in 2026. Get well soon, John Mayer, GNS for life. So me and Jordan, neither one of us celebrate Christmas, which is funny. But you know what? He said happy holidays. That's true.
So he knew the project here.
Durango's the man. He's been a long time supporter. He
Appreciate you, Durango.
watches
and you know what? Here's the answer, Bobby, to the question. And it's not necessarily a question, but hope you continue. There will be the collaboration continuing into 2026. There's no reason to stop, right?
Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but we do need this. We actually, I've been meaning.
We have some plans already.
Yeah, we need. Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing. So let's end the show on some stuff. We do need to sit down and talk about like what the offseason plan is for it. But you're going to be at the Senior Bowl this year. You know, so we'll be doing 2 live from the Senior Bowl, so that'll be exciting. You know, favorite place in the world is Mobile, Alabama. #1 crime rate in America. Love that place. So I'm excited for that.
I'm not going to hang out in the area where the crime is super high, but
actually you're wrong, because that's where we are going to be hanging out. #2 is Hula Bowl. Hey, Hula Bowl, can you check your damn media credential portal? Because I'm waiting to get back. No one cares about your damn bowl game except for me, because I want to find some UDFAs for the Giants next year and say I covered them and talk to them. And reply. I want to drive to freaking Stetson University and watch your practices. It shouldn't be that damn difficult, Hula Bowl. So what do you think of
that one?
Yeah, I'm starting to get pissed off. I even tweeted at them. I tweeted and DM'd them, been like, check the portal. Okay,
media, some clowns out here complaining for credentials
for the damn Hula Bowl, making me feel like
you're full blown media, Bobby, complaining publicly about credentials.
My God, dude,
what happened to you, man?
Go tweet at the Hula Bowl right now, everybody. Go accept Bobby Skinner's credentials.
2020 Bobby would hate you right now.
So I thought the live show went awesome last week. You know, we didn't promote it a ton. You know, the Giants are terrible, which always hurts crowd sizes for that type of stuff. I think it definitely encourages. I think we're going to do it again and more often. So I thought it went really well. Nice crowd. Everyone that came out, thanks again. But I thought it went well.
Yeah, I did too. I was very happy with the turnout. Appreciate everyone that did come out. Next time, I just got to make sure I should just carry the ring light in the car just in case.
Yeah, but
you like that. You like that atmosphere. You like that like semi-professional look to videos, like, because just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I think you should embrace the jankiness a little bit when it's when it's appropriate, like not on a full-time basis, but I don't even know how much a ring light would have helped at that point either, because it was kind of here's the issue is I'm very much like, oh yeah, everything's fine, and the guy asked how the lighting was, and I was like, fine, and then later on I was like, you know what, we should probably have it a little brighter in here. But Shannon Rose, great host. We were out there. A few of us were there till like 11 o'clock or whatever. We were out there late. So,
I mean, we definitely could have a few of those during training camp next year too.
Oh yeah, I think it's almost a lock. We're gonna do that. And
yeah, that would be like perfect.
So I'm planning So LPG's doing the softball game again. He's teased it. Mm-hmm. So we also have to do a live show in Binghamton, New York, from the raffle last year. So I'm thinking of like doing a 2-week thing up there, and maybe we do something, paired with that,
okay,
or whatever. So
yeah, I think I can get up to Binghamton.
Well, no, you don't need to do Binghamton. We can do one in Jersey. Like I'm trying.
No, but I mean, we could do something up in Binghamton. Okay. Book signing in Binghamton.
Hell yeah, Binghamton. We
show
for the cause. Another oh, that was another question from Research Rick. Are you going to Vegas? Like, it feels like all the reporters are ditching Vegas this weekend.
I am not going.
I feel like nobody's going. I heard Pat say he's not going. Duggan's not going.
There's a very small crew.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird press conference next week. Kafka, I will say, has done a good job of going back to his old self and just answering things for a minute long without actually saying anything. I was clipping up something today. It was about the play action thing. And like at 45 seconds in, I was like, my God, dude, you are bored. Like, you didn't say anything. You're talking for over a minute straight, and you're not actually saying anything in this. Like,
full disclosure, when he was sitting there talking about Theo Johnson playing well and doing great, he had 2 catches, 2 targets, dropped them both, and had 0 catches. At that point, I left the press conference and walked out, because you have to make a decision. You're either in there or the locker room opens. So if I wanted Darius Slayton, I would have had to skip Kafka altogether. So that's why as I was listening to that, I was like, I don't think there's any reason for me to be in here right now.
Yeah.
A decision was made to go to the locker room instead.
Yeah. It's at the end of the day, he's not he's an interim head coach, and I'm just like,
that's the other thing. I'm going to sit there and bang him on decisions, and clobber him on decisions like of a 2-13 team against the Minnesota Vikings in a game nobody cares about. I don't have it in me at this point. I think I'm beaten down, Bobby.
Oh, we all are. So let's get these couple of chats out of the way, and then we'll
let's go.
We'll all go watch Phillip Rivers on Monday Night Football. Paulie said, I went to the game yesterday, worst experience ever. Yeah.
I'm interested to DM me, Paulie. I'm interested to hear why it was the worst experience. But yeah,
I think he's just like, the Giants suck, and that's.
I think it's probably more than that. I think it's probably the stadium experience.
Okay,
that was my vibe.
We'll finish off on this. Do players in the locker room still believe Dart's message when he's trying to lead the team?
So let me tell you this about Jaxson Dart, and this is partly why I'm a believer that he's the guy, and I would not move on from him. Both Wan'Dale Robinson and Jermaine Illuminor, who are two of their 2 biggest free agents, probably, along with Cordell Flott, right? Hopefully Flott's all right. Hurt his knee the other day.
Yeah.
Is that they both said, when I asked them about potentially coming back to the Giants, a big selling point for both of them was Jaxson Dart, because they really do believe he's the guy. He has it. He's going to be a winner in this league. And so when the players really believe it, usually they know when a guy is that dude. And if he wasn't, if he was corny, if they didn't really believe in him, they probably wouldn't have said that. And those are 2 guys I have a good relationship with. So I believe them when they say that. So I really do, like, more than most, think that they absolutely believe his message.
All right. I do too. I'm excited to see what he looks like next year. Hopefully they get a good offensive coordinator, all that good stuff. So one more in-season Breaking Big Blue next week. And then after that, I'll be reacting to the fate of Joe Schoen. And not Brian Dable, because Brian Dable is gone. So it's been a good run. Hope you guys enjoy your week. Jordan, close us out.
Yeah. You're listening to Breaking Big Blue. I'm Jordan Raanan, ESPN Giants reporter. Breaking Big Blue times Giants Nation show. He's Bobby Skinner. I'm Jordan Raanan. See you next time.